Truth is, my ex-wife died in an accident. I'm thinking of taking in our twin daughters, but that's probably not okay, right? Sorry for such a talk. I blurted out.
It's fine,
Came the upbeat reply from my wife. I thought for a moment I'd misheard her. Wait, are you sure? We're talking about adding 2 kids to our family.
It's okay. Bring them home,
She said. I couldn't fathom why she agreed to this sudden proposal, and then she explained. My name is Hayden. I've been married to Lisa for 2 years now. I'm divorced, and this is my second marriage with Lisa. My ex-wife cheated on me, which led to our divorce. My ex, Amy, was flamboyant and sociable, the exact opposite of me, with a large circle of friends. I am a simple guy, but Amy liked the fact that I was a key player in a renowned corporation, so she decided to marry me. Amy's advancements were so persistent that I ultimately gave in and married her. Life with Amy was enjoyable in its own way. I'm grateful to Amy for giving birth to our twin daughters, who are my world. Just as our twin daughters, Molly and Clara, turned 2, Amy abruptly declared, I want a divorce. I'm pregnant with another man's child. At first, I couldn't comprehend what she was saying. My anger flared up, and I demanded to know who the man was. The father of Amy's child was a frivolous man, whom Amy met often. He was one among Amy's large circle of friends, and even attended our wedding. I couldn't believe that a man who attended our wedding would then go on to have an affair with my wife. I couldn't bear to breathe the same air as Amy anymore, so I took Molly and Clara and moved back with my parents. We filed for divorce, demanding compensation, but I couldn't win custody of my daughters. I'd heard it was difficult for fathers to win custody of young children, but it was hard for me to accept that even though the mother had cheated, I couldn't secure their custody. Regardless, I couldn't overturn it, and was granted visitation rights to see Molly and Clara by paying child support, looking forward to the days when I could see my girls. I had no choice but to continue living. I tried to create as many happy memories as possible whenever I saw Molly and Clara, to ensure their memories with their dad were joyous ones. We would go to theme parks, visit zoos. I did everything I could for my adorable daughters, but I could no longer live with them. Once I dropped them back with Amy, I would get on the train home alone. One such day, I suddenly realized I was crying. My wife had been stolen, my daughters taken away, and I felt empty. I was so emotionally drained that I didn't know what I was living for. A grown man crying on a train must have been an odd sight. As people distanced themselves from me, Lisa approached me.
Are you okay? If you're not feeling well, we can get off at the next station together, she offered.
I found Lisa to be quite unusual with her genuine concern. I wondered what she stood to gain by being kind to a man like me. I'm okay, I curtly replied.
People who are okay don't cry,
Lisa responded, handing me a handkerchief, and indeed, she got off at the next station with me. I stopped as Lisa suggested calling over a station attendant, and sitting on a bench on the platform, I confided to her about my miserable situation. As I spoke, she nodded attentively, making me realize what an unusual person she was.
You'll be fine, Hayden. This might be a dark period in your life right now, but brighter days will come.
I was genuinely comforted by Lisa's words. Using the excuse that I wanted to wash and return her handkerchief, I got Lisa's contact information, and we began to meet frequently after that. Lisa, who is kind to everyone and treats every person with the utmost kindness, was even more of an oddball the more I got to know her. I even started suspecting if she had any ulterior motives. However, Lisa was not the type to be cunning or double-faced. She often made endearing blunders, and I found myself falling for her. Each time she would call out,
Hayden, what should I do?
In panic, seeking my help. We ended up getting married as a result of my approach towards her. You light up my life, Lisa. Will you marry me? The moment Lisa laughed joyfully at my embarrassingly sincere proposal, I knew I would never forget it for the rest of my life. I was still able to meet Molly and Clara on a regular basis as always. Even after the birth of our son Tom, I continued to see them. Lisa was aware that I was paying child support and knew I had twin daughters. But I couldn't bring myself to tell her about my meetings with Molly and Clara, fearing it would upset her. Feeling guilty, I lied to Lisa, saying I was going to hang out with friends whenever I went to see Molly and Clara. Lisa would see me off with a smile and say,
"Be careful."
One day, while thinking that I should eventually tell her that I was regularly meeting with Molly and Clara, I received a sudden, shocking message.
"Amy died."
The message was from Amy's mother. Amy's mother, with a crestfallen look on her face, informed me that Amy had died in an accident. Amy, her current husband with whom she was having an affair, and their child who was born to them, were all killed in a tragic car accident during a road trip. Amy's mother told me that she couldn't take care of Molly and Clara, as her own health was failing, and their grandfather had passed away earlier. The moment she said she would have to put Molly and Clara in a facility if no one could take them in, I found myself instinctively saying, "I'll take them in." Amy's mother thanked me, but I was immediately consumed by a sense of guilt for having given an impulsive response. After all, I had my own family now with Lisa and Tom. Feeling it was unforgivable, I decided to discuss this with Lisa. Actually, my ex-wife died in an accident. I want to take in the twins, but that's not okay, is it? I'm sorry for bringing up such a topic.
"What? That's awful. No, it's fine."
I was startled by Lisa's response. I was prepared for divorce, or at least a look of disgust. I thought I had heard wrong. You're okay with it? This means we'll have 2 more kids.
"That's fine. Bring them home. They must be scared with their mother suddenly gone."
With that, she urged me, who was still in a daze, to prepare to go out. Putting on my shoes in the foyer, I asked Lisa, "Why are you forgiving me?" She laughed at me with a slightly bewildered expression.
"You silly. After all, you've always been loving towards the twins, Molly and Clara. I noticed. You've been visiting them regularly."
"Why?"
"Well, you always seem so cheerful when you return from these sneaky outings. I knew you wouldn't cheat on me. Pretty good detective, huh?"
Lisa joked, and I immediately understood she was trying to cheer me up. At the same time, I came to realize how big-hearted Lisa was. "Thank you," I said, and then I headed to my in-laws' house by car to pick up Molly and Clara. At only 5 years old, Molly and Clara, suddenly left all alone, were asleep in their grandparents' house, huddled together for mutual support. Seeing the traces of tears on their cheeks truly pained me. I thanked my mother-in-law, woke up Molly and Clara, and tried to explain the situation as simply as possible so that even children could understand. They cried at the thought of never seeing Amy again, but they said they wanted to live with me. In the car, I talked to Molly and Clara about Lisa and our baby, telling them how kind and wonderful Lisa was, and that our baby was still very small and adorable. The girls looked anxious. When we got home, Lisa had prepared a feast. She had cooked dishes that she thought the children would like, and she introduced herself to Molly and Clara with a warm smile.
"I'm Lisa. I'll be living with you 2 from now on. So let's get along. I know you must be very sad right now, but don't worry. You have your dad, and of course, I'll be here too."
Lisa spoke to Molly and Clara in a gentle voice, and, without seeming bothered by their lack of response, she encouraged them to eat their fill. The girls timidly started eating, but it must have been really good, because they soon started eating enthusiastically, which was a relief to me. After giving Molly and Clara a bath, I found that Lisa had already bought bedding for the kids. Since I had been using the car, Lisa had brought the bedding back on her own.
"That was quite a task."
Lisa chuckled, but all I felt was gratitude. Molly and Clara refused to sleep with Lisa, so I ended up sleeping between the 2 of them. When I apologized to Lisa for the girls' behavior, she comforted me, saying,
It's okay. It's too much to expect them to adjust so quickly. Right now, you're the only one who can support Molly and Clara emotionally. So don't worry about me, and just do your best.
Lisa laid out a mattress in the living room and slept there. During the night, Molly and Clara cried in their sleep, and I spent a painful night. After that, life with Molly and Clara went smoother than I expected. Lisa didn't mind when Molly and Clara gave her skeptical looks. She would scold them like a real mother when they were mischievous, and she would comfort them gently when they were crying. One thing I noticed after living together was that Amy had not been very affectionate towards the girls. Molly and Clara tried to do everything on their own. They would open the refrigerator on their own when they were hungry, munch on cheese, and even lay out and put away their own bedding. At first, I thought they were very independent, but their behavior seemed odd. Lisa also consulted with me, and we concluded that Amy may not have taken care of Molly and Clara very much. The clothes that were sent as Molly and Clara's belongings were shockingly few. Whenever Lisa would prepare a meal, they would ask,
"Will Lisa share the food with us too?"
They seemed puzzled by the concept of bathing daily at first, and it appeared that until then they had been bathing only once every 2 days. What's more, these 5-year-old kids were taking baths on their own. The story of Amy going on a trip with her husband and the child born between them, only to encounter an accident, seemed strange from the get-go. Why weren't Molly and Clara taken along on the trip? It was clear that the girls had been treated poorly, and I couldn't contain my anger. I can't forgive Amy and her husband. Once they had parental rights, they had a responsibility to make Molly and Clara happy. So why didn't they take care of them? I was trembling with rage, but both Amy and her husband were no longer alive to bear the brunt of it. With nowhere to direct my anger, I clenched my fists tightly, and Lisa spoke.
"Hayden, I understand your anger. I'm angry at Amy and the others for not properly raising such adorable children like Molly and Clara. But being consumed with anger at people who are no longer in this world isn't going to do any good. The greatest revenge on Amy and the others is to ensure that Molly and Clara find happiness living with us, don't you think? So let's shower them, and of course our son Tom, with lots of love. Don't be consumed by anger and hatred for the deceased."
Lisa's calm and gentle words made me break down in tears. Despite regularly meeting them, I hated myself most for not noticing the treatment Molly and Clara had been receiving. Trying to blame myself, Lisa consoled me, saying,
"It's okay, Hayden. You're doing everything you can."
To fulfill my own responsibility as a father, I dedicated myself to being a good father for Molly and Clara, and of course our son Tom. Initially, Molly and Clara were wary of Lisa, but gradually they warmed up to Lisa, who always spoke to them brightly and casually. Although they initially refused to even sleep together, nowadays both Molly and Clara want to sleep next to Lisa. The two of them would fight, each saying,
"Lisa is mine."
But Lisa would hug them both at the same time and say,
"No need to fight, darlings. I love you both. It's okay."
Lisa's words, "It's okay," were like magic. Always positive and bright, Lisa, who would reassure us with those words, was a blessing to me, Molly, and Clara. Time flew, and Molly and Clara became 5th graders. For Parents' Day, the theme was Halfway to Adulthood, which made Lisa and me nostalgic. We also had a halfway to adulthood ceremony when we turned 10, during our elementary school Parents' Day. I remember we made presentations about our feelings towards our parents and our treasures. At Molly and Clara's school, it seems that they're required to write an essay for their halfway to adulthood ceremony. The theme of the essay is family, and I was a little worried that Lisa might feel uncomfortable. If Molly and Clara focused on writing about Amy and her husband in their essay, it might hurt Lisa. I even shared my concerns with Lisa, but she just laughed it off, saying,
"Even if the essay was entirely about Amy and her husband, I wouldn't mind at all. For Molly and Clara, their life with them was a part of their happiness, right? Isn't it a good thing after all?"
With the twins, the trouble is deciding which parent will attend which day on Parent-Teacher Day. It's a sad story for me, but both Molly and Clara asked for Lisa to come. To make it fair, I had them decide who would get Lisa through rock, paper, scissors. Molly was the victor, and Clara was quite down about it, which made me rather sad. Is it so bad to have Dad come? Dad loves Clara very much.
It's not that. Clara loves Dad too, but I wanted Lisa to hear me out.
I worried that Clara might already be in her rebellious phase. But I understood why Clara wanted Lisa to listen when I heard the content of the essay she read on Parent-Teacher Day. Clara had written about Lisa in her essay. Clara mentioned her life with Amy and her husband in her essay as well. It seems that their life together wasn't a particularly happy one. Yet Clara wrote that she felt helpless when her mother passed away. When I came to pick them up, Clara was happy to live with me, but she was scared of living with Lisa, a stranger at the time. But then, Clara started talking about what Lisa had done for her, the time they took a bath together and played in the bubble bath for the first time. When she cried late at night because she was lonely, Lisa stroked her head until she fell asleep. When Clara fought with Molly, Lisa reassured both of them, saying she loved them both, which made Clara very happy. In her essay, Lisa was nothing less than a mother.
I want to call Lisa Mom, but I'm still too embarrassed, so I haven't been able to call her that. I plan to call Lisa Mom for the first time.
I couldn't help but cry when Clara concluded her essay reading like this. Some of the parents around me also seemed to be tearing up, and even the teacher was wiping away tears. After Parent-Teacher Day, Lisa, who was with Molly, also had red eyes and a red nose. When I asked her what happened, Lisa said Molly had also read a similar essay. Molly and Clara must have planned it. They held hands, nodded to each other, and then together said to Lisa,
We love you, Mom,"
with bright smiles. Lisa hugged Molly and Clara, bursting into tears, and said with a trembling voice,
"Mom loves Molly and Clara so much."
Being a crybaby, I naturally bawled. Our family is living happily. At some point, the idea of getting revenge on Amy and her husband had disappeared. I just want to protect this lovely family of ours. All of this daily happiness is thanks to Lisa. When I told Lisa thank you, she smiled back and said,
"No, thank you."
I can't thank her enough.